Jeff, I wanted to ask you, what are your predictions regarding the Surrey BC real estate market going into next year, going into 2023? This year is pretty much done now, right? Going into next year, wanted to know what your predictions are regarding the real estate market.
Well, Rick, much like your hair just falling to one side, right?
Shout out to my stylist. All right.
What's happening is it's what it was expected to happen. We've talked about this on previous episodes before, about the sudden rise, and now we've also just touched on it a little while ago about the stabilization and the fact that our market is correcting. It's fair to say we can see the similar trends carrying on to the new year, as especially with interest rates being the way they are. It's not so much the pricing now. Prices have come down. So it's not so much the pricing, but if prices come down, how come people aren't buying? Well, the qualification rate has changed now, right? So that plays a huge impact on things too, because before you were qualified for a certain number, now you're not, right? And you got to look at your mortgage payments too, right? What happens there? So there's a lot of factors to consider. The housing market in general, I would say, it's still following a downtrend. Now, I want to be careful and not throw the hype out there and say we're crashing. No. You know, we've talked about earlier in these episodes that the market correction 20, 30%. Well, those things have happened. Now, you might see small little increments here and there again, but you're not going to see another 20, 30, 40%. Right. If people are still waiting for that, then I would say, did you not read the papers last few months that said this? So now you're expecting almost 20% then, 20% now, 40% drop? Come on. Right.
You're saying it last episode.
There's a normalization of how it's going to happen. It is slowly going to a negative direction. Now, when I say negative, I don't mean like, oh God, like things are going bad. Negative in terms of pricing. It's scaling back down and it's correcting to an area where it'd be more affordable. So my prediction for the upcoming year, it's
12 to 18 months-ish, I would say.
Okay, well, my prediction for the upcoming year, especially in the beginning of it, because
first quarter.
Later on in the year, it's hard to determine. Things change.
Let's say first quarter.
Right? Yeah, I guess you can say first quarter.
Spring.
So I can see sales, are picking up a bit, but they're nowhere as near of what we saw in February, March. So we have to get February, March out of our minds, because that was not a normal market. If you look at the normal, if you go back years and you check out the normal, we're on pace to still run those normal markets. So I would say that we are stabilizing back to where prices were originally. It's just taking a hard train to get there. Something had to be done. Prices were going crazy. Interest rates being this low were causing so many buyers to come in that were having problems, right? So something had to be done, and this is what it takes to do it.
Yeah, it's just don't think this thing's ever going to get solved or fixed, the housing affordability problem.
Housing affordability would never be fixed?
I don't think so. Whatever they're trying is not working, clearly. All right?
Who's trying?
The government.
Well, housing supply is one thing. We just came back from Ottawa. We were talking about infrastructures with our MPs, talking about the affordability rate. We're talking about the interest rate. We're also talking about the supply of homes. Another thing that was also mentioned there was a study done, and I don't know how some people thought that millennials were not going to be home buyers. They're saying that during this time frame that we will have the most 30-year-olds in the last 50 years ever, right? So, and I think a study was done where it said 65% are looking to buy. Now, the real thing is, everybody wants something as the affordability aspect of it, right? So to say, I don't think they're going to be able to do anything, I think that might be a little bit harsh to say, right? Because, there's a lot of factors involved here. It's not just the government say, okay, let me just do this and it's going to happen.
I got it. Right? It's definitely tough. So, it's not easy. I'm not saying
if anybody in the federal government world wants to have a talk with Rick's number is here somewhere. The views expressed by Rick is just Rick's alone.
Numbers down in the little text, scrolling text there.
Congratulations by the way. Yeah.
Sorry, tying back into mortgage rates here, right? Now, we watched this video earlier, Jeff, that was based on the United States of America. Shout out to all our listeners from the USA. Now, in that video, they were saying interest rates could hit as high as 10% by the end of spring next year, right? Which is kind of crazy to kind of think that. But, they seem pretty confident in the video that we watched. They're pretty credible people, right? So that's for you to decide. But regardless, like, how possible do you think that is that something like that can happen in Canada exactly, like 10% by end of spring market? Do you think that's something that's maybe foreseeable in the upcoming market next year?
Rick, anything is possible. Okay, if you're asking, could we go up to 10%? Well, I think in the early 80s, interest rates were at 14, 18%. So is it possible? Anything's possible. 100% it could be possible. It's about managing our expectations and managing the whole current situation before we get to a situation like that. Once again, we say this all the time. We say, well, it starts with the P word, planning, right? And this is planning done on a national level, right? By putting some of these roadblocks in place or speed bumps in place, it actually helps our economy as well. So remember when the U.S. is going through all these foreclosures, left, right, center, the banks are just basically giving out money, 0%. Well, what our government did here is we came out with a stress test to make sure that if the rates were to go to these numbers, could you still afford it? Right? That was to offset any of this cause of foreclosures, because they gave so much money out. Mm-hmm. According to the banks, you already qualified for it. Now, if you're going and buying all these crazy expensive things, well, the bank can't account for your stupidity.
Or unforeseen circumstances as well, right?
Yeah, but that's something different. Unforeseen circumstances, that's something different.
Yeah,
but if you have a expensive taste and you're always doing this, then that's something that bank can't calculate. Now,
maybe it's time to send the Bentley. sell the Bentley, guys.
See, by going up to like 10%, right? That is a crazy amount. Right, without a doubt. What also really happens here is the buying power also shifts down. So let's just use an easy round number here. Let's just say 500,000. Right now, earlier on in the year, February, March times, they get an interest rate of 3.3, and I'm showing those top of my head here, around 3.3. On 500,000 with a 30-year amortization of 20% down, your mortgage payment could have been somewhere around $1,800, $2,000, give or take, right? But now, the interest rates that we're at today is around the 5.5 range, give or take. That mortgage payment has almost jumped up by $1,000.
That's right.
Right. If you were to go to 10%, well, then it could go up to almost $4,000. So not only is the monthly amount very important, because our cost of living here, people haven't got raises to help offset that. But the real main thing here to look at is not even about the mortgage payment for that property, is the qualification for that property. So that first scenario where that person bought the property at $500,000 with 3-point-something% down. Yeah. Well, he's qualified for 500,000. He or she is qualified for 500,000. But now that person might only qualify for 300,000.
That's right.
So they won't even get to that 500,000 mark because they won't qualify. So qualification is a real issue here. You probably can make the mortgage payment, but can you get qualified for it? Right. So if interest rates were to go up, sellers are the ones that's really going to have to be worried here, because if no one's there to buy it and you have something to sell, and no one's there to do anything, what are you going to do? Now, you talk about hardship. Some things happen. How about you're forced to sell? You need to sell. There's no ifs and buts about it. But your property was in the high market, say $1 million. Now it's come down to $700,000. But because of your hardship situation, you need to sell it for $850. Now, if you looked at this in February, it would have been an easy thing. Yeah, no worries, done. But now that the market has corrected so much, well, I can't guarantee you $850 now. The market's corrected. Because it's not that no one wants your property, it's that they can't qualify for it. So the number of buyers for this certain type of property has gone down. Where you might have had 1,000 buyers that qualify, you might now have 700. Right? We just don't know. We don't. I wish we had those figures, which would be really nice. But obviously, I think it'd be kind of difficult to get those kind of figures of what price bracket everybody's in and how many people are applying for those style of mortgages.
Yeah, they could only probably just make some kind of survey or something just to kind of keep track of that roughly.
That's what I think is going to happen, Rick.
Okay.
What's going to happen to your hair?
Shout out to Sunny Nagar, my stylist, right?
No. I'm just saying. It's not gel today.
He did some special stuff, all right, to the hair, right? And it's also raining. Kind of got wrecked, which is always raining here. But anyways, you'll find out if you're planning to move here, all right, and you want to relocate to British Columbia, don't forget to give us a call. The number will be on this screen. Get a hold of us any which way you need to, because we love helping you guys out if you're planning to move to British Columbia, especially the Fraser Valley and Greater Vancouver area. All right, and if you're wanting a free hoodie, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to this channel, and comment the words "I have subscribed." All right, and after subscribing to our channel, once you pass us your information online, we will send you out a free JC Homes hoodie, okay? Absolutely free, absolutely free. The new version's in, right? We got the new versions in. Let's get ready for the free new versions of the JC Homes hoodie, all right? Zip up ones. And sorry, any last pieces you want to add, Jeff? I know he's busy. I just pulled him out of a meeting to get this video done for you guys, okay? Because I might be heading out of town.
We had a morning members meeting today at the golf course. We had to do a quick speech, nothing crazy, but then you had the meetings right now, and then you had to pull me out of a meeting, and I still have to pick up my kids.
Sorry, right?
Yeah.
That pretty much sums it up, guys, all right? So like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you guys on, well, wait, like Snoop Dogg said, till the next episode, all right? All right, see you guys.